I'm Coffeezilla, internet detective in the $10 million studio, and this is the part of the studio most people don't see. We're taking you behind the scenes today to tell you about one of the pieces of our toolkit, which is the Mo-Sys StarTracker Max, a camera tracking system created by Mo-Sys, which basically allows us to move the camera, which is hard to do on green screen. You know, when you first start out, you think you're a genius because you figured out how a chroma key works. Everything looks easy. Then you try to move the camera and you suddenly realize you're way out of your depth. So when we got sort of into the world of camera tracking and like moving the camera around, creating more dynamic cinematic scenes on YouTube, one of the challenges we faced was how to do that. There's a lot of different methods. One of them is match moving, where you set up a bunch of markers on a wall and you solve it in post. This system, that way of doing things kind of has its own challenges. Mostly we just don't have the manpower to do that. It's just a lot of time. It's very time intensive. Then we got into real-time tracking solutions, which also, you know, sounds great on the surface, but there's a lot of challenges you have to know going into it that I certainly didn't know, which is we got a bunch of different systems. This is before we got the StarTracker. And what I found was while they delivered like an okay result to start, like as a demo, when we started thinking about making these production ready and creating these shots, we'd noticed these little glitches in the tracking data. These systems just weren't accurate enough, and there were little jitters in it, or you know, it would hold for a frame, and then the sensor would catch up, and it would create this massive problem where we just have to throw out shots. You spend the whole day getting something, and you realize it's completely unusable. So it was incredibly frustrating. And I really found out that there's this Uncanny Valley problem in motion tracking where until you get to the pixel perfect tracking, you really are up against the human eye, which is so good at registering sort of what's real, what's not. And it's a show focused on trying to get scenes that feel real, real enough at least when you're not flying around in the Lambo. We were just trying to deliver a product that was sub-pixel accurate, and that's when we found out about Mo-Sys. They've been used in the industry forever. YouTube largely hasn't found out about it, which is kind of why I'm here. Mo-Sys helped us get our hands on this tech, and in exchange I said I would share my experience if I actually use this thing, because otherwise I was going to send it back because I have a graveyard of these products that I don't use in my garage. But 6 months later, I've used both the StarTracker Original, the StarTracker Max, and you couldn't pry this thing away from me because we use it all the time for the show. So based on that, it's a strong recommendation from me if you're looking to get into pro-level camera tracking. I know firsthand how hard it is to find good information in this world because everyone has good demos in the tracking space, and demos don't translate into usable tech. So in a sea of that, the StarTracker Max is a good old-fashioned workhorse product. You don't have to calibrate every time, and it just kind of makes putting together complicated camera moves easy.